Well, we continue with the broadcast this morning on News and Views here on Salam Media, and we are focusing on an issue that is of major concern. We know many South African students are studying abroad, and we are focusing on Russia in particular. Now, the concern is South African students may face possible eviction or expulsion from Russia, and just to find out what the issues are, we have got. On the line this morning, the founder and chairperson of the South African International Students Association, Tumisang Victoria Maheso. And we also have got a final year medical student at the Tambov State University, Mathebula Luyanda. Victoria and Mathebula, good morning to both of you. We thank you for your time with us this morning.
Thank
Good
you very
morning.
much for having us.
Victoria, let's start off with you and let's just look at the situation, looking at Russia in particular. South African students facing possible expulsion and eviction. Is this as a result of what is playing out with the Ukraine?
Not really that. Our plight started because we are the Mpumalanga sponsored South African students studying in Russia. The reason why we face expulsion and eviction is because the department has not paid for our tuition and our accommodation. So we have been engaging with the department for a while now, and it has been just nothing but lies from their side because they have not really met up with the promises that they have made to us that they would pay our tuition and our accommodation. I myself was almost evicted on Monday because my accommodation has not been paid. And the department is really just shoving this matter under the carpet. And we are speaking up because we really don't know how to reach out to the department anymore. We're just trying to get them to do right by us. It's like they are breaching the contract that they had with us when they brought us into this country. So we are just concerned students because our tuition and our accommodation has not been paid. And there are some students that still haven't received their stipends in the past four months. And the question now remains, how are these students expected to survive when they are so far away from their families and they're not even getting any money for them to be able to sustain themselves in the country, to buy necessities like water and food? And the little that have actually gotten their stipend, we are advised that we need to use that money to pay for our accommodation, which is not logical at all. It's unacceptable what the department is subjecting us to. And we're just trying to get the department to pay for our tuition and our accommodation so we can finish our studies.
Yes, I just want to bring Matibula. Now, you obviously at a very, very critical time of your career, being a final year medical student, and to experience something like this obviously is not acceptable. But for how long has this actually been going on where the department has been reneging on its responsibility or shirking its responsibility in making these payments?
Thank you, interviewer. We've been experiencing this problem from the start to I think around the start of June till this very same moment. We're heading into the second week of October. So this past 4 months have been very, very difficult for us as South African students. As like you said, myself in particular being a final year medical student, and my fees being due by tomorrow. And I face possible expulsion if those fees are not paid by the government. And we've been told lies upon lies, them claiming that they will do right by us, they will pay those fees. They said they would pay the fees on the 7th of October, and still nothing. And we're still waiting right now for the 14th of October, like they said on social media, that they would actually pay those fees by the 14th, which is Friday.
Yes, Victoria, just looking at your situation and your predicament where you are right now, and just talking to those that need to be paid, whether it's the university or for the accommodation. Are they sympathetic to your cause, or are they just adopting a policy that, listen, you don't pay, you will be evicted, you will be expelled?
The thing, right, is that the department has left us to negotiate on our own accord with our landlords and our universities. So it becomes really difficult when we are feeding our landlords and universities lies that we get from the department. The department issued a report saying that everything would be paid off by the 7th. So that report, we went by it. We went to our universities, we went to our agents, we went to our landlords and gave them that report and said by the 7th everything would be paid for. And because that was a lie from the department's side, it becomes as if we are the ones that are lying to our landlords. And it now puts us in a very difficult position that the little trust that we had with our landlords is being broken by the fact that we keep making promises that we cannot adhere to. Had it not been the intervention of the agent that we used to work with before their contract with the department expired, I would have been left stranded on the streets right now. So we are just asking that at this moment, because we are even left to negotiate on our own accord, can the department maybe do right by us by actually paying the money the way they said they would? Because last week, they were the ones that said that they would pay on the 7th.
Victoria, I think I
And
am
then they
having a
did it.
slight problem.
They say,
We are having a problem, I think, just on your side. I'm going to just continue with Mathebula. Mathebula, just, Victoria has spoken about the lies of the department, and I just want to unpack the lies. What are they actually saying in their communication to you people, apart from obviously making promises to pay by a certain date? What other issues are there?
Thank you, interviewer. Other issues that we're facing, these lies that are being told to us, despite delayed stipend and outstanding tuition and accommodation fees, we also have certain things such as outstanding fees for visas, medicals, PCR refunds, and etc. I myself personally, I had to do medical checkups, which is a law here in Russia that every single student needs to do such tests before you can actually uh, uh, be given certain documents. And specifically for myself, I'm a medical student. I am required to do those medical checkups before I can actually go do my practicals at the hospital. So such fees have not been paid out. They've said that they've delegated a certain agency called AVS, travel agency, to take care of all those things. And to this very date, I'm still waiting for those fees that were promised by the department and that agency from the 15th of September. We were told that we would get those fees, and still to this date, there's nothing on the table. So there's lies upon lies that they tell us that they'll give us stipend. People haven't received stipend in 4 months. Accommodation fees haven't been paid in 3 months, and like it's just very horrific given the geopolitical factors that are happening in Russia and things skyrocketing in prices, and we are dead care to fend for ourselves.
Yes, and also Victoria, we are actually trying. We stay in the process of trying to get hold of somebody from the Mpumalanga Education Department for a response, because I think this is important to try and get hold of someone. Hopefully, we can, and we will try even on another platform. But just coming back to this particular issue and. Uh, Looking at the National Department of Education, have you made any representation? Because I'm sure the provincial department reports through to national. Are they aware of your predicament and your dilemma?
we actually had one of our student leaders call the minister yesterday because we have been sponsored by the provincial government. We had never really had to work with the national department or DERCO, for example. We never really had to have any direct contact with them because the Mpumalanga department was working directly with our agents that are working directly with the agents that are in Russia. So we never really had to work with the national department, but we did escalate our issue to the national department to make them aware. And we have it in good confidence that Bleeding Zimande said that he didn't even know that we were in the country. So that is also a call for concern because we were like, but it's okay now because they are aware of our plight. We are hoping that they will step up and fix it. And just to add on to what Luyanda was saying, that with the lies that are coming from the department, there was a time where they asked for our lease agreements. We sent them our lease agreements. They did nothing with those lease agreements. Like when I was actually close to getting evicted on Monday, I asked myself that these people understand the importance of the matters that we are facing right now, because it's like they are not understanding the importance of the position they have put us in. And if they are going to let us go through all of this, it clearly shows that they've brought us here and they don't care about us. Our parents are worried sick in the country, and we are here. We are going through a lot on our own because we don't have any sort of support. And we're just hoping that the department will hear our cry and they'll actually do right by us, because at this point, we really have exhausted all of our options, honestly.
Yes, well, to both of you, to Luyanda and Victoria, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to go for a quick ad break and we will be back.
Media.
I'm being told to fix my microphone.
Listen to something fresh.
So I got involved with doing some work around International Day of the Girl Child from about 2017, and that was just after I'd entered my activism. There's still a very long way to go in ensuring a socially just world for a girl child, a world where a girl child is not limited and a girl child is able to understand that they're able to be anything they want to be and have the very same equal access to opportunity, to education, such as the boy child. It's seen as a crime for a girl child to access an education. Also with economic issues as well, because when you assess what started the involvement between someone who is underage and someone who is much older, there comes in an issue also of being taken advantage of, is because that a lot of the men at times who tend to have involvement in this issue are men who are in power, who are public figures, who are known.
Social justice activist Zuleika Patel.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity. Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Well, the time has just gone 7 minutes to 9 as we head towards news, and we are talking to the South African students who are in Russia, and they are faced with a dilemma of facing possible eviction and expulsion as a result of the Mpumalanga Education Department not honoring their commitments to the students in terms of paying their fees, in terms of paying their accommodation, and these are students that are facing hardships. And at a time when it is not easy, we know what is playing out with Russia and Ukraine. We know the difficulties that Russia and the Russian people are also experiencing, and this is having an impact. We have got two of the students. We've got Victoria. Let me just get the name correct. Sorry about that. Victoria Maheso. Victoria Maheso, who is the founder and chairperson of the South African International Students Association. And we also have got Mathebula Luyanda, a final year medical student. Mathebula, just to continue and just to appreciate what students are actually faced with at this point in time. And perhaps you can just take us through some of the hardships as a result of the Mpumalanga Education Department not honoring what it needs to do.
All right, thank you, interviewer. I'd start firstly by the whole thing of delayed stipends. Like, students right now are faced with situations whereby they have to literally beg from other students, take loans from other students. Some students try to find work within Russia to get fund to be able to survive, because some people haven't received stipends in 4 months. So imagine I was brought here to study, but because of the government not honoring their commitment in paying certain things, I'm supposed to now go find work, hustle around to try and be able to pay my accommodation and also to feed myself. Is that fair? In any way? And also outstanding tuition. Some schools and some universities are not letting students in terms of inside school to be able to study based on the fact that the tuition is not paid. And right now we're at a critical time in our studies. I myself doing final year. Imagine if I'm not able to go into to school and be able to study at this point. How am I going to catch up with all that work? Well, the department is dishonoring and dragging their feet in terms of resolving these matters. We have contact them time after time, asking them what is the plan. Right now, you can contact the people in the department. They don't have a plan in ways of how they're gonna pay our tuition to start off with, on how they're gonna pay our accommodation. They have no plan whatsoever, but yet they keep on making these promises. You know, they made a promise on media on Saturday last week that they would pay by the 14th, which is tomorrow. And mind you, you can check up on that. I can bring my invoice from school tomorrow, and I can promise my tuition would not be paid. So we are
Mm.
facing such dilemmas, you understand. So also the whole dilemma of them bringing in subcontract agents that can't honor certain things that they promise in terms of paying visas, medicals, and PCR refunds to students. You know, we have subcontractors that are running away with students' money, and the department is not taking accountability of that. You know, it's basically a free for all. You know what's happening in the department.
Well, definitely, Victoria. Just looking at I know you mentioned that this has gone up to the Minister of Education. What about the MEC in Mpumalanga? What is the MEC saying?
MEC Majuba. You know, I'm laughing because I called him multiple times. I was able to get his contact details. I called the MEC multiple times. I've called him over and over again. And then he was the one that shared with me that lousy report that they said they would pay by the 7th. And nothing was paid for. Ever since the 7th, I've been trying to call him. He's not picking my calls. We've tried to engage with the HOD, Lucy Moyani. We've had a meeting with her. She was in the meeting with us, dismissing all of the things that we were telling her. And we made her we were trying to make her aware of all of the challenges that are going to come with them not getting their story right if they're going to get rid of our agents, rackers. So we were trying to explain all of that to her because right now they're claiming that some of their challenges are university invoices. And we told them that initially that apparently one of the people in the office wrote to universities last year to request for invoices and they never got those invoices. This year, Lucy Moyani came to us as students and said, here's a letter, take it to your universities, go and request for invoices. The universities still send us back to our agents. And they are failing to understand that. We have engaged with the MEC, we have engaged with the HOD, we have explained to them our plight. They are fully aware of the fact that some of us are facing eviction and expulsion tomorrow because over the weekend they made promises. I was supposed to get evicted on Monday. But because of the promises that they were making, saying that they would pay by Friday, the landlord was like, okay, fine, we'll give you until the 14th. But if the 14th, the money is not paid, you need to vacate. So I'm still here trying to understand where am I supposed to go tomorrow when I get evicted? If the school is going to be expelling all of us, what are we actually doing in Russia in the first place? Because we've been here for years. We cannot afford to just throw away the years that we've had because of this 1 year that the government is choosing incompetence with our futures. It doesn't really make sense at all. And some of the challenges that the students are also facing as well, I've heard in other cities, students have to squat with each other because the others cannot afford to pay for accommodation. So those that were able to get help, maybe from their parents, or maybe they use their stipends to pay for their accommodation, have to harbor other students in their own apartment. And this is not what we came into this Russia to do, guys. Like, it's unfair, it's unacceptable that the government is actually subjecting us to these conditions. It's not healthy for anyone. Honestly, it's not.
Well, we can obviously continue. The time, unfortunately, has been of the essence. But Victoria, if you could share with my producer the MEC's details, because we will still endeavor, we will still try and get hold of someone in the Mpumalanga Education Department for a
Of
response.
course.
But to both of you, thank you for coming on and highlighting the issues, highlighting what the problem is, and we definitely will continue trying to get hold of the department to try and get some answers on your behalf as well. But for now, thank you. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wade. Thank you.
Mathebula Luyanda and Victoria Maheso, this was with us this morning. These are students that are in Russia at this point in time, and they are facing quite a critical situation where the Department of Education in Mpumalanga is not honoring what they are supposed to do. We will try and get hold of someone within the department or the MEC himself. The time is just headed for 9 a.m. We're going for the news. Jedward is standing by.